Welcome. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about filters, and specifically the Benro filter system. Now, you're probably like me in that your trajectory as a photographer started with buying a decent camera and a decent lens, and you wondered to yourself, why on earth should I make an extra expenditure buying filters? And if you take your job seriously, you'll quickly come to realize that having a comprehensive filter system is an investment worth making. So you might start with some screw-in filters, but if you've got a collection of lenses of different diameters, the screw-in filters really are a false investment. And pretty soon you'll need to think about getting a square filter system. And the advantage of having a filter system such as this is that it's very quickly interchangeable, and very quickly you can stack filters one on top of the other to get the effect that you want. So you may start with a Cokin P system just to get a taste for the experience, and quickly come to realize that the Cokin system is being cheap. You get what you pay for. And then perhaps you will aspire to the Lee filter system, as I did. I purchased the Lee system, made a significant investment in a number of elements of that system. It resembles something like this, and was very disappointed with the experience, particularly with regards to their big ticket item, which is the Lee Big Stopper. The Lee Big Stopper filter is effectively a piece of welder's glass, and the color cast on it is appalling. It's irremovable, which is why you see a lot of long exposure photographs taken with that filter converted to black and white, because it's not simply a question of changing the white balance on your camera. It really does affect every color of the spectrum independently. So it's a very, very tricky task removing the color cast from a Lee Big Stopper. There are pros and cons to the Lee system, but it's mostly cons. Another con is that the neutral density filter, or rather the circular polarizer filter, sits on a dedicated ring on the very front of your lens system, and because the filter sits at the very front, it has to be necessarily a lot bigger than it would otherwise be, and because it's a lot bigger, it's more expensive to produce. I have it here. Here is the Lee Circular Polarizer, 105 millimeters in diameter. It probably costs around, well, you probably won't get much change out of £200 buying one of these. The nice thing is, because it fits at the very front of the filter, is that if you're like me, I like to check the polarization away from the camera, so you can hold the filter holder up to the light and rotate the ring and get the polarization that you want, and then put the filter holder straight onto your camera, and you've got it set as you'd like it. I'll come back to that issue in just a second. So I got rid of the Lee system because I wasn't happy with it, and then I moved on to a new kid on the block, the Nissi filters system. I've got a good deal on this. This is the base kit, and it comes with a filter holder. This is the standard ring that fits into it. And you'll get a set of 3 step down rings. So if you have an 82mm lens, you can screw this adapter straight to the lens, and the adapter clicks nicely into the filter holder, and then you use a step down ring to take it down to your lens sizes, your 77, 67 and 72mm lenses. Now, the disadvantage to the NISI system, well, there are two versions of the NISI V5 system. I've got the V5 Mark 1. The V5 1 is, the grips on the side are a little bit tighter, a little bit overly tight for holding your filters. And so when you try and slot them in, you can accidentally reposition your camera or maybe put a little bit of stress on the lens mount. The other issue, I won't take it out. Well, I'll take it out to show you. So this is the polarizer. Now the polarizer sits between the filters and the lens, so it's closer to the lens, so it can be more of a standard size, which is great. And because it screws into the mount, and the mount itself has a little knurled ring here, you can actually change the polarization. Let me just turn that around. How do I do that? You can change the polarization with the filter holder on. Now I actually prefer taking the filter holder off. I prefer the Lee system, where you take the filter holder off and you can hold it up to the light and rotate the ring in front and get an idea of the effect that you want that way. With this, because the adapter ring is a screw-in ring, you can't, and the filter and the circular polarizer fits here. You can't check the polarization away from the eyepiece of your camera, which is a bit of a shame. Once again, a polarizer is really important for landscape photographers and for architectural photographers, because what you can do is you can change the reflection and the density of color on the grass. You can also change the blueness of the sky, the opacity of water, and the reflection or otherwise on elevations of buildings. So you can remove, say, a reflection of a light car in a dark window if you're taking an elevation of a commercial building. So a polarizer is a very important addition to have in your camera bag, and the effect of a polarizer cannot be replicated in Photoshop, at least not without a considerable amount of work. So that's a NISI filter system, and I was quite happy with that until I chanced on a YouTube video over Christmas on the Benro system, and I jumped at the product because it resolves a number of issues really rather elegantly. So as with the others, you have a series of rings which attach to your camera. I've got one on here, and quite simply the filter system clips on. Let me just put that, where do I put it? I'll put it here. So the filter system clips on, and you're ready to go. So what does this make this? What makes this a superior product? Well, a number of things. First of all, the spring clip, which attaches, which connects your filter ring to your filter holder, has a locking nut, and not enough has been made of this locking nut on the YouTube videos that I have seen. The locking nut's important, and the locking nut, by the way, does not unscrew, so it's not going to fall apart on you in the field. You're not going to lose it in the sand. If you're doing, for example, a landscape, and you're doing let's say you're doing a seascape with a hard edge graduated filter up to the horizon level. So you put that filter in first, and then behind it you would place your 10-stop filter. Your 10-stop filter is going to make your view out of your eyepiece completely opaque. Now, in putting that filter in, you may accidentally rotate your filter holder. But if you put your filter holder on and then lock it with this ring, your horizon is going to stay exactly as it should be with the addition of the hard edge grad, so you can conveniently slot in your big stopper, your 10 stop filter behind it, and you can take your picture safe in the knowledge that your front filters have not moved. So what are the advantages of these filter holders? Well, once you snap them in, it's just a question of dropping your glass in behind the lip and using this little noggin here, sliding it along and clicking it into place there, and then your filter is held securely. You no longer have to pick your filter up by the glass. I find holding the filters just and handling them in the field just so much easier now. There's no risk of chipping or breakages. Remember, this piece of glass here will be 150 pound each. Now the square filters simply drop in and they sit in front of your lens, and there's a little stop there, so it's not going to fall out, and once you've pushed it in to its stopping point, you know that it covers your glass completely. Now the filters on the front, or rather the longer filters, 100 by 150 I believe, they've really been designed rather elegantly. They have they're knurled at the side, and the point of that is that when you slide your filter in, you have a geared mechanism which allows you to finely tune the position of your filter. I'm just going to turn this over here and you can see what I mean. So this is the gearing here. And you can move it in and out of the 3 slots, so you can adjust each of the lenses, each of the filters independently. So there you have it, the Benro 100mm filter system, a very elegant solution, very practical solution, and you can use it with all your existing 100mm filters. It's not a problem. Just get this new holder and you're good to go.